So I think people should note that.
Yeah, 3 years.
3 years. 3 years.
I really can't thank you enough. This has to be the best day of my life. And all these guys come around, and some I didn't recognize, they introduced themselves, and I look at they're really pretty guys now, Rich and Young there, guys that look real good, I wouldn't have recognized them. But it's such a relief for me just to be here. Now, what I'd like to do is just take a couple minutes here, and maybe a little more in a couple minutes, but this was all gotten finished 50 years ago. 50 years ago, they played soccer, and Ronnie Ort was on that team, and I don't know whether these guys are here or not, but for Ronnie Ort, George Collins, yes, George is here, Tim Stalker, George Sharp were on the 65 team, Steve Pollack, Fred Brannon were on the 66 team. 50 years. It's almost impossible. 50 years. Where were you all this time? Why was I still standing here? Now, I think it's like all coaches that are coaching for a long time. I've coached 48 years soccer, and as a player, I've reached all the heights there are. Played against Brazil when they were world champions in Yankee Stadium. Played against West Coast Celtic. Played against Liverpool a couple of times. Manchester United, Manchester City. So I've done it all. 2 times All-American, but I wanted to give it to the kids, the young kids, and I think they appreciated that they had a guy that could do it and did do it. Now, I think a lot of times, and where Chris is, again, if he's still here, but a lot of times the coaches think of who are the best athletes they've ever had, and I did. And about 5 or 6 years ago, I came down with just 3 names at a time. And now, of course, they're not here now. They played when I was still here. I've been out of here now 32 years, I think. And I come up with 3 names, but they might be in the neighborhood. If it was nice, you know, if you could just pass by them and say, hey, I understand you were the best athlete here, or one of the top 3, in John Hughes' opinion. One was Paul Engelberg, if any of you remember him.
Yeah.
And a terrific young man. Another was John Curran. John Curran and I got along really good, and I thought I picked him of the best of all. John Curran got killed, and we were very close. He used to stop at my house where I lived. And one night I picked up the paper and I read it, and it said John Curran and somebody else were coming home at 3 o'clock. I imagine they were drinking, and the driver hit one of those stanchions that hold the bridges up at 3 o'clock in the morning. He got out, walked away. John Curran was decapitated. And the last was Dane Cherry. Last time I saw him, I was down on South Street, just walking along. This young man came running over and said, Coach, it's me, Dane Cherry. He was about that big, but he was a terrific athlete. Now, I picked these this way. They were my picks. And then 3 years ago, I was with a couple other guys, Ron Orick, Steve Pollack, who I don't think is here, and Timmy Stalker, my goalkeeper. And we got talking, and I said, I think you have one good athlete, really make something of him. And I got a new one, and I know I'm right on it. Ron Orick was the best athlete this school has ever had, in my opinion. What am I talking about? Well, he was all public soccer. He was all scholastic soccer. That was his main sport. He played baseball, varsity baseball. He played basketball here, varsity basketball. Somehow, he even got into track one year, a little bit, which made 4 sports. And then when I heard, what else is he? A professional boxer. Wow. I did some boxing in the Navy when I first went in. And you have to be in shape, and you have to work, and I'm sure he did. His record as a professional were 12 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw. I don't know whether any of you guys remember Sugar Ray Leonard. He fought him. Didn't win, but he fought him. He
You want to fight about it? You want to fight about it?
And then he also told me the collegiate matches he had. He had 18 boxing matches. He won them all. He told me some other ones, but I just wanted to make sure he judged his opinion here in a minute. He's the main factor about Ron. He is so humble. Oh. He's not that. He's not that. He's far from that. But I like the guy. I like him a lot. And he really got involved in this thing, and he wanted to show the other guys that they had a coach that could really coach. The last thing I have to say is I knew they were building they have Dottie Walton on this field next to us. I guess it's lacrosse. Is it,
Field hockey.
Field hockey. Field hockey over here. And I like her. She was a young woman when she came here, and we were good friends. And we would talk about sports a lot of times, and she would ask me things about them. But I know she would do a good job. But I'm mostly interested in what's on the other side of the soccer field. Mickey Young. Mickey Young's son is here. He played baseball for me when we won the city championship. Best third baseman I ever saw. Couldn't hit much. You see this a minute? Just a minute. Oh, Mickey and I were the best of friends. Best of friends. I think he was my best friend at that time. And we would go out. In fact, I just told somebody, believe this or not, he said, "Can you kick a ball?" I said, "Can I kick a ball? I've been playing soccer. I was in the pro league 15 years. What do you mean, can I kick a ball?" He said, "Well, let's go out. Can you kick a football?" I said, "I never did." We went out, and I got as far as 50 yards over the crossbar. And he said, "Whoa, we're going to go after the Eagles, you and I." He did. And I said, "Look, I don't know, Mick. I don't know how to do this stuff, and I don't know what I want to." He said, "You will. You'll do it." Right after that, he was sick. And I remember one day he came into school, I remember plainly, and his skin was all discolored. And I said, "What's the matter, Rick? You haven't been in school a couple days ago, you all right?" He said, "I don't know, John. I got something called aplastic anemia." I don't know what aplastic anemia is even to this day. 2 weeks later, he was dead. 40 years old. My best friend. I got a call. And by the way, Mary Young is here. And I love her. Mickey and Mary and me and Eddie, we would go to the prom at the end of the year.